Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Tanya, and this is Creations with Tanya. In today's Sewcialite Quilt Along, created by fatquartershop.com, link is in the description below. We are doing Block 13, the Joy Block designed by Susan Ake. And I am doing all 6-inch blocks. There are 3 different sizes you can do, and they are 3-inch block, 6-inch block, and 9-inch block. And in this particular 6-inch block, you will need the following fabrics cut in the background color: 12 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangles, and in the printed fabric you will need one 2.5 inch square, 4 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangle, and 16 1.5 inch squares. The first unit we are going to assemble is the flying geese unit, and what you'll need is background fabric A as well as printed fabric D. And you'll take one background fabric and 2 D 1-inch squares, and you're gonna draw a diagonal line on the back side of the D fabric and put it on the corner of fabric A. Then you are going to sew from corner to corner. Once that's done, you're going to trim a 1/4 inch away from the seam. And this is what the block should look like. Then iron that open, and then you're going to take the other 1-inch square and put it on the opposite corner of fabric A, the background color, and do the exact same thing. You're going to sew along the diagonal line and then cut a 1/4 inch seam and iron it back and iron the seams open, and you should get a unit like this. And this is called the flying geese. You will need 8 of these flying geese units, and these should measure roughly 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches. The next unit you will need to make is the double flying geese unit, and as you can see here, I've laid out the 2 flying geese units side by side, and all you need to do is put them facing each other and then sew a 1/4 inch seam. Once this is done, you should get the double flying geese unit just like this. You will need to make 4 of these double flying geese units. The next unit is called the rail unit, and what you'll need are 4 of your background fabric rectangles you've got, and 4 of your printed fabrics, the 1.5 inch by 2.5 inch rectangles. You place them facing each other and then sew a 1/4 inch seam down the side, and you should make 4 of these units. And here's what the finished rail should look like. Don't forget to iron open your seams. Once you have all 4 rail units made, we will then assemble the block. To assemble the Joy block, you will need your printed fabric B 2.5 inch square plus the 4 double flying geese units and the 4 rail units. I usually place the middle square first, and that is your 2.5 inch square. Then for the first row, you're going to have 2 flying geese and a rail unit, and it's laid out like this. And then you're going to have in the middle row the 2 rail units on each side of the 2.5 inch square, and then you are going to do the last row with the last remaining double flying geese, and it is laid like this, and it looks like the double flying geese are going around in a circle. So we're going to sew these in rows, and I'm taking the flying geese and putting it together with the rail, and the rail with the 2.5 inch square and the other flying geese with the other rail, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam. Once that's done, I'm then going to finger press and then sew the remaining blocks on those rows. Once I'm done, I will show you the middle, top, and bottom rows finished. I have finished sewing together my top, middle, and bottom rows, and now I'm going to take the top row and put it face forward together with the middle row, and I'm going to pin at the seams so that they can be as lined up as I can get them, and sew it a 1/4 inch seam. Press the seams open, and then I'm going to finger press that and then sew the bottom row to the middle. And here we go, the finished joy block, and it should measure roughly 6.5 by 6.5 inches squared. Please join me next week as we move along with number 14, Serenity Block, created by Chelsea Stratton in the Sewcialites Quilt Along, created by fatquartershop.com. For this block, you will need one background fabric for the 6-inch block, 5 2.5-inch squares, and 2 printed fabrics. You'll need 4 2.5-inch squares and 4 1.5-inch squares. I want to thank you all for joining me in this awesome quilt along, and see you in the next video, and have a wonderful quilt day. Bye.